people are becoming more aware of the value of taking care of not only their physical health, but their social, emotional, and psychological well-being too. The problem now becomes a matter of how rather than why. Stress management and emotion regulation, for example, are practical skills for achieving mental wellness, but they're not exactly taught in school. So if you're looking to better your mental health but don't quite know how, then look no further. Here are 7 simple, easy, and psychology-backed ways to do just that. Build emotion regulation skills. Studies, such as the study by Gross and Kubzansky in 2013, have proven that emotion regulation plays an important role in our ability to cultivate positive social relationships, as well as our sense of personal achievement and overall life satisfaction. That's why it's crucial that we learn how to properly identify our emotions and deal with them in a healthier way. Even feelings like anger, jealousy, or hopelessness can be beneficial once we are able to understand what's causing them and how to work through them. So next time you feel your emotions starting to get the better of you, such as when you're in the middle of a heated argument or about to burst into tears of embarrassment, take a deep breath and step back for a moment, mentally, emotionally, or even physically if you need to. Find healthier outlets for you to express your emotions, such as a hobby, a passion, or journal writing, and practice communicating them to others more constructively, such as using solution-focused language and I statements. Set boundaries. Many psychologists and psychological researchers, such as Kitzrow, tell us that building better boundaries is one of the best things you can do for your mental health. Because when we fail to set boundaries with others, no matter who they are or how important they are to us, we can easily fall victim to unhealthy relationship dynamics, such as people-pleasing, overcommitting, and emotional codependency. So practice communicating your boundaries more clearly and kindly asking people to respect them. Protect your mental and emotional energy and spend it only on the things that truly matter to you. Talk to a friend. Research has shown that positive social relationships are the most important determinant of our overall life satisfaction, such as the famous 40-year study on happiness done by a Harvard researcher, Dr. Robert Waldinger. In the age of social media, it can be easy to rely on online interactions and the safety net of a carefully crafted persona to fulfill the desire for social interaction. But to truly reap the benefits of positive social interactions, there needs to be a human connection. So why not go on a social media detox for a while and just spend quality time with your loved ones? Talk to your friends, reach out to your family, or meet new people by joining a club, organization, or a volunteer program. Being more socially involved and nurturing your interpersonal relationships is good for your mental health. Find a hobby or goal. According to world-famous psychologist Martin Seligman, there are 6 building blocks to positive well-being, known as the PERMA-H model. We've already covered 2 of them, which are health and relationships. To cover another 3, positive emotions, engagement, and achievement. You can try taking on a hobby or having a goal that you love and are passionate about. It can be anything that brings you joy, gets you in the flow, makes you lose track of time, and motivates you to excel. Learn relaxation techniques. Relaxation techniques are often taught by therapists to those suffering from trauma, anxiety, panic attacks, and phobia. But they can benefit just about anybody. Some commonly recommended ones include progressive muscle relaxation, deep breathing, and guided imagery, all of which you can easily learn about from self-help books or online guides. Authors Teasdale and Segal say that relaxation techniques improve your mental health, as they've been proven to decrease stress, lower blood pressure, and reduce psychosomatic symptoms such as heart palpitations, muscle tension, sweaty palms, or difficulty breathing. Another great way to boost your mental health is through increased mindfulness and meditation. And while it's admittedly more difficult to get the hang of than simple relaxation techniques, you may have heard stories about monks and Buddhists taking years to master it fully. But mindfulness meditation can be a very powerful and effective tool in combating challenging thoughts, emotions, and experiences. Have a healthy lifestyle. There's no arguing that mental and physical health go hand in hand. So when you neglect one, the other will surely suffer. A good and easy way to get back on track is by eating something healthy, getting a little more rest, or doing something to help you be more active. Next time you're feeling really down, mental health organization's mind.org.uk recommends why not trying to eat food that's been proven to boost endorphins, reduce anxiety, stress, and fatigue, such as leafy greens and probiotics. Getting a full night's rest and doing something physical like running, playing sports, swimming, dancing, or cycling just might do the trick too. And finally, practice gratitude. According to registered nurse Griff Alspach, psychologists have found that optimism and gratitude are the 2 most important and controllable factors for a person's happiness and life satisfaction. So try starting a gratitude journal to cultivate more optimism in your daily life. When you consciously practice gratitude, you start to realize how much you have to be thankful for. So, how is your mental health? What are some ways you take care of yourself? We're tempted to think a person is mature simply because of their chronological age. But what if we told you that maturity as a mental and psychological state has very little to do with physical age and more to do with how we learn and adapt? Here are 7 signs you are maturing, even if you don't think so. Number 1, you discuss ideas, not people. Great minds discuss ideas. Average minds discuss events. Small minds discuss people. That came from the great mind of Eleanor Roosevelt. The concept means that you've moved on from juicy gossip, the tea, as the mainstay of conversation. You notice that what piques your interest, giving you a dose of creative energy, isn't the latest dirt on someone. You find that you'd rather discuss, perhaps, the idea of how or why this kind of talk is so popular, or even why doing it loses interest. You discuss big picture things. Don't get us wrong though, saying positive things about someone is still a good thing. Number 2, as much as you love everyone else, you also love yourself. Okay, we're not encouraging self-aggrandizement. We mean self-acceptance and self-validation. We're sure something you've noticed consistently in someone you see as mature is that they know who they are. It's normal to be interested in what others think of certain points of interest, and caring for others is always a strong plus. However, the mature individual does not require outside validation to know that they themselves are worthy of basic respect, love, and compassion. They understand implicitly that this is the case and their own worth is defined by them. They are no one's puppet. Number 3, you take responsibility for your stuff. This is a meeting in the middle of things. On one end of the scale, you have the person who is never wrong. Everything that doesn't work out is someone else's fault. Then on the other side, you've got the person who is always to blame, taking on everyone else's tasks and worries. Together with knowing yourself, maturity is being able to assess and own up to your own mistakes, but also to be able to differentiate and set boundaries when blame is being misappropriated to you. Not taking the world upon your shoulders. Essentially, you're able to tell what's yours and what's not yours to control. Number 4, you understand that not everything requires your opinion. Believe it or not every post, tweet, or story requires a response, nor are they all requiring someone to find something wrong with it or to correct it. If you really want your opinion out there, by all means, say something, and perhaps also ask yourself, why? Maturity comes into play when you start to ask yourself questions before you comment, like, am I doing this to satisfy myself, or is this a matter that needs a response out of necessity? Good news? Maturity means that you can just relax. Not everything requires a clapback, shout out, or response. Number 5, you know how to give and also how to receive. We know that giving is a good thing. There are certainly enough requests for donations, patrons, and Kickstarter campaigns to show that. But how do you receive things? Many of us were brought up being warned against being conceited or arrogant, which in some cases leads to an awkward habit of not taking a compliment or gift without saying something like, I don't deserve this. Think of it this way. When giving, whether it be a compliment or a physical gift, the joy is when the other person receives it graciously. If they start waffling and saying they don't deserve it or feel guilty, the act of giving feels diminished. The mature mind understands that receiving something with grace, happiness, and gratitude is in itself a gift to the giver. Number 6, you quiet the voice in your head that insists that something is always wrong. Knowing yourself and being mature doesn't mean that you don't have insecurities. It means that you can keep them in check. Many of us have that tiny voice, some of us not so tiny, that constantly catastrophizes. It's the voice that pushes you to overwork and burn out because the other shoe will drop. It insists the professor's compliments are just an act for their job, it means nothing, and you still might fail. Maturity is the deep breath that takes you by the shoulders, looks you in the eye, and says, really? Is that really what's happening here? Think about it. The mature you takes that mental pause, critically thinks about it, then uses the evidence to take the best action. They don't let the inner critic push them into exhaustive overdrive. Trust yourself and that you can cope. You are enough and you got this. And number 7, you manage your emotions instead of being controlled by them. When you let your emotions control you, that's when hurtful, regretful outbursts happen. At extremes, impulsive, disastrous crimes of passion happen. When they're repressed to look strong, you've got pressure buildup. While you can't control your emotions like a thermostat with a dial, you can manage them. One sign of maturity is when you don't act on emotional impulses. You learn to identify them, sit with them, and accept them. When you're mature, you're able to channel your emotions in a constructive way rather than a destructive way. So yeah, age isn't a measure of maturity. Maturity is the ability to respond, cope, and reason appropriately for the situation. Age is just often referred to because most of us need time to learn how to do all of that. And don't worry, we all occasionally have slip-ups, acting childishly. No one's perfect. Maturity lets us acknowledge the slip and learn from it. It's growth, and we never stop growing. How do you feel about each of these points? Do you recognize some of these behaviors becoming truer for you? We'd love for your comments and discussion, as well as a like. We promise to accept it graciously. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.